Just have five. Like, I don't think I deserve 500 viewers right now. I'm just on the battle tree being boring. Like, whatever. If you guys want to turn up, that's awesome. WeedleTwineedle, one of the biggest Verlissified fans. Yeah, I believe it.
What is going on, everybody? WeedleTwineedle here, and we are back again with another Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle, and this one's going to be against Samantha. Now, I battled my opponent off my Discord server, so if you guys are interested in a battle and trade community chat room for Pokemon Sun and Moon, feel free to check out my Discord. A link will be in the description. Now, me and Samantha are having a rarely used battle today. As my opponent's team's looking pretty threatening, she has Swallow, Nidoqueen, Florges, Escavalier, Como-o, and Gardevoir. Pretty threatening RU team. As I'm using a pretty interesting team. I'm using a Kadabra, Zweilous, Drifblim, Bronzong, Dragalge, and Wailord with a very interesting set that some of you guys may be familiar with, that a very talented and genius Pokemon trainer came up with. So let's just get right into the battle. My opponent is going to lead off with Swallow turn 1, as I'm going to be leading off with my Kadabra. Now I figured that this Swallow is 99.9% choice box, because I've got Swallow in 2017. I have yet to see a gut Swallow in Sun and Moon. I've only seen Spec Swallow, so I'm just going to assume that every Swallow's choice specs until someone proves me otherwise. Now, I'm going to bring in Bronzong, tank a very big hit from that Boom Burst. I was surprised at that damage, honestly. As now, in comes Beast Ball Escavalier, legit shiny. I don't know if that's actually possible, but we'll go with it. Now, I'm going to let my Stealth Rocks and get that nice balanced move up for the Swallow. As now I'm going to switch out here and bring in my Zweilous here, pretty much just death fodder if you went for Mega Horn, but my opponent decides to go for knockoff. As I'm able to bring in my Zweilous, tank the knockoff, thankfully. I guess my opponent had no reason not to go for knockoff, honestly. Now in comes Florges, as I just choose to go for the Stab Crunch with the Hustle. Thankfully I hit the move, because Hustle tends to be like a hit or miss ability. Because freaking every time I use a little Eradicate, I miss like all of its moves, and then I like want to kill KMS. So I'm hoping Zweilous comes through in this game, but I don't want to stand on a Fairy type because I'll just get destroyed by Moonblast. So gonna bring in my Dragalge here, as my opponent just decided to go for Wish. Now Florges is at a decent amount of HP already. Not too high, but like high enough to still be annoying. So I'm thinking that my opponent is probably gonna want to go for the Protect here, or gonna try to pass the Wish. So instead of going for the offensive move here, my opponent decides to bring in Nidoqueen, as I do decide to actually go for the Toxic Spikes. Even though my opponent does carry Nidoqueen, I figured that I would at least force it in, but my opponent ends up bringing in Nidoqueen straight up, which makes sense because Nidoqueen does resist poison and obviously can threaten me out with Earth Power, which obviously I don't want to be staying in on this Nidoqueen, so I'm going to switch out here and bring in my Drift. I'm expecting the Earth Power and or Stealth Rocks, as Nidoqueen does decide to lay up the rocks. Good play, as now, this Drifloon set is not a minimized set. Unfortunately, I can't copy all of Verlis's amazing sets. I am going to use my own unique Drifloon set I came up with, though. It's actually Calm Mind. My opponent's going to go for the Ice Beam. I'm hoping at plus when I can tank this wall, and I do. I'm able to get my Weakness Policy as well, which not only gives me a big boost in special attack and attack, it gives me my Unburden as well, which gives me a lot of speed. So now I'm going to go for the Psychic at plus 3 special attack and just obliterate this Nidoqueen, so down that thing goes. And honestly, I'm hoping that this Drifloon can sweep, but in comes Escavalier, and I completely forgot that this thing was not weakened. So I'm pretty sure that Escavalier is Assault Vest, so I think Acrobatics will do more at plus 2 attack, as it does not knock out Escavalier, unfortunately, as Escavalier is going to knock me out with the knockoff. So unfortunate, but that was just my fault for not weakening the Escavalier, and I played that poorly, but you guys got to see the cool Drifloon set's potential, so that's cool. Now I'm going to bring in my Zweilous here, go for the Stab Crunch, actually connect thankfully, and down goes Escavalier. Now I was thinking of running the Dark EMZ on the Zweilous, but I decided on Drag EMZ just because of Outrage. Outrage's raw base power with Hustle and Devastating Drake. It must be pretty damn powerful. Now in comes Como-o, and I don't want to stay in here, even though Zweilous is pretty much useless at this point. I can set up Trick Room with my Bronzong, and hopefully get a mini suit going with Zweilous. And I carry Trick Room on this Bronzong. I decided to get rid of what did I get rid of for? Toxic, I think? Yeah, I got rid of Toxic this game for the for Trick Room, just so I could use it with this as well as. But in comes Como-o, gonna get up a Dragon Dance, and I'm hoping that my Bronzong could just tank one attack from this thing, because it is just Como-o. But Como-o actually does reveal the Fighting Z move, and I'm like, oh no, Bronzong, come on man, you're not, you're tanky, you can tank this all-out pummeling. But from Sky Uppercut and Como-O's decently high attack stat, +1, it's not looking very good for me. Gonna punch me like a million times, like all up pummeling. Probably one of the cooler looking Z moves in the game. But yeah, my poor Bronzong's going to get abused, and down that thing goes, unfortunately. But yeah, this Como-O is looking like a pretty big threat. I would have loved to get the Trick Room off, but not much I could do about that. Gonna bring in my Kadabra here and just get outsped and get knocked out by Poison Jab pretty much. But I do carry Focus Sash, and thanks to Magikarp, Stealth Rocks are not gonna cock block me, which is nice. It's kind of like the main reason why I'm running Sash, Magikarp, Kadabra, just because Stealth Rocks are super annoying for most Sash leads, but Kadabra just does not care because, you know, Magikarp's pretty nice. Yeah, Psychic's gonna knock out the Como-O, as now in comes, not Psychic, Counter, my bad, I forgot, I had to use Style points there. I could have just Psychic'd him, but instead I decided to go for Counter. Now in comes Swallow. I just realized that all my opponent's Pokemon are shiny, definitely legit shinies, 110%, not triggering at all. But now I'm gonna bring a Neurotoxin here onto the Swallow. I don't really have a switch into this thing because my Bronzong did get defeated, but I'm assuming since I'm especially defensive Dragalge, I should be able to take a Boom Burst, as we're able to tank it thankfully. And now I will be able to knock out the Swallow with Draco Meteor. I was thinking maybe my opponent will want to conserve Swallow, but at the same time my opponent's last Pokemon are Gardevoir and Florges, so maybe saving it wouldn't be the best idea. I was thinking that maybe my opponent will want to sack off the Florges, but the Swallow dying is definitely good for me. Because now in comes Gardevoir, very nicely done on my opponent, because I actually didn't realize that Gardevoir was just straight up about to trace my adaptability. Even though I use Trace Gardevoir all the time, I just completely forgot about it, so I'm like, oh crap. I'm pretty sure this is GG, because Gardevoir gonna go for the Stab Adaptability Moonblast onto my Neurotoxin, and Dragalge is gonna be unable to tank it, and all I have left on my team is Wellius and Wailord. So I'm gonna bring in my Wailord. My seems legit. Now this Wailord is a Pokemon that someone bred me. Definitely bred me the shiny, and I wanted to showcase the Widelicify's genius Wailord set. We're going to see it in work in this battle. So Moonblast does do so much damage to Wailord, but after the Amnesia, I'm hoping Wailord, maybe like with a min roll, can potentially tank this Moonblast, because this is it. It's now or never. With this Wailord set, it's your time to shine. So I'm hoping that Wailord will come through here, tank this Moonblast. As you know, Wailord lives with 2 HP, but that's to be expected because this is a Widelicify's Wailord set, definitely common calculated, like expected. Widelicify definitely knows the RU meta very well and knows how good this is in the current meta. So I'm going to get the Resto Chestoberry going, have +2 in my special defense, and yeah, Gardevoir is adaptability, very threatening and all, but unfortunately with +2 Spadef, I'm able to face tank this Moonblast pretty nicely. Is now going to be able to knock out the Gardevoir with the Heavy Slam, all calculated because Widelicify knew that I would be facing 2 fairy types as my opponent's last mon. So down goes the Gardevoir, and my opponent's last mon is Florges, and unfortunately I don't think Florges can beat a Heavy Slam Wailord. I have to tag, I have the juice to deal with this Florges. But yeah, I should be able to just face tank Moonblast for days at +2 Spadef, not too big of a deal. As I'm able to just, that does absolutely nothing. And now I do want to reveal the curse, just so in case you guys were wondering about this genius moveset and wanted to use it for yourself. You know that my last move is Curse, alongside Heavy Slam, because I guess, you know, with Heavy Slam, Vaporeon and like Astrodon doesn't wall you. But yeah, you know, Heavy Slam's pretty good, because you can OHKO card bank a +2. And I definitely recommend using this Wailord set, because as you can see here, it's just definitely like won me this game. I mean, Adaptability Gardevoir would have smashed me, but thanks to the Amnesia Wailord, it just freaking came through and just demolished my opponent's last 2 Pokemon, and Wailord is actually able to win us this battle. I mean, to be expected, of course, because this moveset's like fire as hell. So I hope you guys did enjoy that battle. If you guys did enjoy it, I really would appreciate if you hit the like button, as it's much appreciated, and your guys' support means the world to me. And the question of the day is going to be, what is your favorite unorthodox Pokemon moveset you enjoy using? Now, unorthodox being like a set that's not standard, like, you know, let me give you an example, like the Wailord set I used. Now, my favorite Pokemon set that I customized that I made is definitely my Subdragon Dance Tropia set with the Lychee Berry. Definitely not the most viable set in the world, but I have a guilty pleasure of using it, and you guys probably are sick and tired of seeing it in my videos, but I enjoy using it too much. And when it gets going, it really gets going. But, I mean, that's if it gets going. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll check you guys in my next video. Alright, peace.